Hello, good afternoon everyone. It's a beautiful day today. Just let me close my door before anyone comes in. Sorry about that. If I don't shut that door, they forget that I'm not on a live. It's my signal. So anyway, we've done that, got that organised. And I'm just checking to make sure that I'm on my right page. And it looks like I am, which is great. Say hello if you're on. I'm Anita Mazzero, Stampin' Up demonstrator in Horsham, Victoria, which is in Australia. So if you see the live button up there, you know I'm live. Otherwise, just watch the replay and let me know that you're on, because that's, for me, it'd be nice to know who's watching. Right, the weather at the moment is absolutely beautiful sunshine, a great day for washing, the right amount of rain and the right amount of, no rain, the right amount of wind and sun, so which is really good. Oh, I'm hopeless today. Didn't have a lot of sleep over the weekend, so I'm a bit all over the place. So please excuse me for that. But we're organised. I'm going to now flick you down because I've got a little bit to talk about, and it's easier if you can see it. So we'll just turn the camera down. So just one moment. Hope I don't make you dizzy. You don't want to see my roof. And we need to zoom in a little bit. That's a bit better. Sit. Make sure my camera's right. Once upon a time I could work out where I was exactly, but it is now. They've changed and it's miles away from anything. So anyway, this is our new mini catalogue. And as demonstrators, we are lucky enough to get one early and we are able to order from it already. So this is coming up, and this is just an indication. All I can say is this is a punch. For those of you who like punches, this is what you'll love. So if you want a mini catalogue and you don't have a demonstrator, hello Jacinta, how are you? And you don't have a catalogue, a demonstrator, and you would like a catalogue, let me know. If you're a customer of mine and you've had a catalogue, you've had placed an order in the last 6 months, you will automatically receive one of these in the mail. So I think this is a great catalogue. I think they've got lots of stuff to suit most people. Oh, you're a bit puffed. You've been at work again, have you? Is this your lunch break? So, yeah, I think there's a lot of good things in. Hello, Cherry, how are you? So, yeah, look out for it. It's not far away. Also, at the moment, we have our Designer Series paper, 15% off. And it's only selected products. So the products that we've got are the Bright and Beautiful 6x6, the Countryside Inn, which is a 12x12. I love that paper, that's beautiful. The Country Lace and the Country Woods, again, both 12x12s. The Full of Life 6x6, the Lily Pond 6x6, Mediterranean Blooms 12x12, Perennial Lavender 12x12. I think that is a perennial favourite. Good afternoon, Mr. Michael. How are you today? It was lovely chatting with you for a brief time last week. Take to the Skies 12x12. Thoughtful Journey. This is one of my favourites. I think I have nearly gone through the whole pack. It is just a great paper. So that's a 6x6. To the Market 12x12. Unbounded Beauty. Wildly Flowering. And one from last year, which is the Winter Meadow 12x12. And they're all down to 1848. So that is a great thing to have this special. So if you're after paper like this, either go to my online store or give me a call and I will put the order through for you so that you can get this paper, because once this end of August, it's over. The other thing which I forgot to, I know I printed one off for last week, and if you saw my place at the moment, it's a pigsty. So I've got stuff all over the floor, all over the bench. Thank God the camera keeps it out of sight. It's the redeeming of our coupons, and we had them all through last month, and we've got till the 30th of August, not the 31st as previously advertised. Stamping Up made a correction on that, so the 30th of August is when we do that. And I think why they've got confused, I don't know, there is 31 days in August. I thought maybe they got confused because there's 31 days last month, but no. I'm not very good. You know how you used to be able to do with your knuckles which days were which and like which months had what? Not me. No way. So today I'm going to do a little bit of masking, and I'll just reach over and grab the masking paper. And this is a great product to have in your kit. It comes in a pack like this, so there's 12 sheets which can be cut, and each sheet, I can show you on the one that I've, has got, I don't know if you can see it on there, there is a little bit of perforation in the middle so that you can peel it off. These masking sheets can be used over and over and over. I thought you might have been at work, Jacinta. Very busy again today, by the sound of it. It looks like it. So we're going to use the Spotlight on Nature bundle. Now, when it comes, the dies do not do anything with these. These dies are amazing. I've used this particular one. Now, if you have a look closely, you'll see this particular design, which is a dots and dashes one. I'll bring it up so you can see closer. So it's a dots and dashes. And this particular one comes 1, 2, 3. So there's 4 of each of the particular designs. So if I bring that up, you can see we've got ones with little, sort of like fleur-de-lis, the dots and dashes, and then there's just ridges across it, and then it repeats again. And then when you go to the other pack, it's a repeat of the same things. So they are so wonderful, and to me this is a set I think we'll use long after they're finished with the catalogue. It's such a great one. So I'm going to use those. So as I said, I am using this particular die from the stamp set. And then I'm also using the Stylish Shapes. And the Stylish Shapes one, if you haven't got this set, I think it's well worth squares, banners and circles. And I've used the fourth fourth from the smallest circle. So I'm using those. So I'll pop those away because I've cut them out to make it easier for everybody. So I'm going to show you a technique today using our, just get my pieces and move them out of the way. So when I was showing you those circles, look at how they cut them out. How pretty is that? And that's just one of them. And that's the dots and dashes. And you know, if you could quite easily stitch around that and create another look. You can stitch that way around. Be very interesting. It's something I'm debating and playing with. So what I've done, move that out of the way, what I've done is I've die cut a mask. I'm just going to peel the back, and as you can see, I've cut it so that it's at the ball where it was easy to peel off, and I'm going to take that. So I'm going to just pop that on my hand and give it a bit of a rub. You can do it on your clothing, you know, just pop it on, just so that it gets a little bit tacky. Otherwise it may stick to your paper and you tear your paper when you get it up. So I'm going to place that in the middle, sort of about there. Yeah, that looks about even. I'm just going to lightly press that down. And now I'm going to go and do some blending. And I'm going to use Fresh Freesia for my blending. I used blues in my other colour, in my samples that I prepared this morning. But I thought I'd go something different, you know, like you never know who you want to give a card to. Okay, so I'm just going to tap off the excess ink, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to blend all the way through and really emphasise the blending at where the mask is, because I really want that to be nice and dark to give a very distinct look. And I'm not worried if there's some darker patches, because when you see what we're going to do, it's going to make sense. Just come in. None of our football teams did very well this time, Jacinta, did they? You didn't barrack hard enough. So neither the fellas or us are happy with what went on. But it's getting to that time of year, and yet, strangely enough, it's still anyone's game in the football. So completely cover this up. I've got some light and dark patches in it, and I'm okay with that. Just get in here in the middle. I want it a little bit more. So as you can see, I've made sure I've got quite dark and heavy around there, because I want all those dots and dashes to be showing. And then I've got colour. So as you can see, there's a little bit of white. And I'm not sure if it shows up on the camera, but there is some bits of white in amongst the pink. And that's what I wanted, that gradient mottled look. Okay, I'm going to close that out of the way. And I'm going to use Smoky Slate. I debated about using black, and in one of my previous cards I did use black, and it was just, I thought, a little heavy. Yeah, well, the expletives coming out of my husband were really quite, I'm sure the neighbours heard it. So it was not the best. But, you know, we know what our boys are like when it comes to the footy. Okay, so I'm going to use this beautiful leaf design. I've left my mask there, and that's because I want it there for a reason. So I'm just going to stamp, and I'm going to pop this around, and I'm just going to go around. I want this to be, as you can see, I'm moving it around, but I'm also keeping the leaves all pretty much down the bottom here. So I might just turn this around and come up there. That looks pretty good. And I think this one I might just have one come up in there and one in there. So in a way, I am creating my own background. And let's face it, designer series paper allow us to do that. Oh, our cardstock. So this is, oh, I need this still. And did I put my, no, I didn't. Thought I put my hand in it then. Okay, I'm then going to got this crosshatch, and I'm going to stamp in the Smoky Slate, and then I'm just going to stamp around. Get different textures, different elements, and I think that might be enough. When in doubt, less is more. And then I'm going to get this, I call it, it's like a dotterage. And again, I'm just going to go and stamp a few times around, giving it a bit of a look. Some dark, some light. And I think that will do. So when you look at this, you can see, I'm hoping this will show up. You can see how I've got all that look. I've got the crosshatch and I've got the dotted ridge, or the dots, whatever you like. So I've got them all the way around. So I'll close my ink pad up. And I'm going to and amazing, I had something here just a minute ago. And it's gone walkabout on me. Knowing the way my place is at the moment, it's probably in the bin. Tried to work yesterday, but not much sleep doesn't help. So I'm carefully lifting this, and unfortunately I've torn it, so very carefully lifting the mask. And because the edges are so fine with all the dotted ridge in it, or all the dots and dashes, it's just taking its time. So I'm very, very carefully lifting it up. Trying not to tear my paper. Because after going to all that trouble, the last thing you want to do is to tear your paper. And there we go. Pop that to one side. Take that little piece out as well. Okay. So as you can see, because I've gone dark here, it's the darkness is a background and it's created that, it's like it's a shadow. And then our leaves are coming off it. But because we had the mask, you'll see certain areas where the imprint of what we were stamping is also there, which is really good. So now what I've gone and done is I've got a circle. And I'm just using a circle to get a bit of colour. And I'm going to put what's left on my brush, which doesn't look like very much, because I just want the hint of the pink in the background here. So I don't want it completely pink, just want the hint of colour. So I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera. So as you can see, it's just the hint of colour. How's Jade? She's doing really well now, Jacinta. We left hospital at 2:30 in the morning, and she stayed here that night and went home last night. She wanted to go home to her own bed. But yep, getting used to these trips. Keep telling her I value my sleep instead of sitting at the hospital till all hours of the night. At one stage I was a bit concerned that she may not be released, but she came good and she was ready to be released, which was great. Now, I think I will use the black. I'm really changing my mind from what I started with this. So I'm going to take our flower stamp, and I'm going to stamp in the black. Now you don't need to ink the whole stamp up because we're only going to put part of it on. So you decide how you want to put the flower. I'm going to try and get, and I did, just enough. I'll just give that a wipe, because knowing me, everything will be black when I'm finished. So I'll take that, because black ink and Anita do not match. So now I'm going to colour my flower in, and I'm going to use, I don't think I've got the colour I'm after, which I haven't. No, what have I got here? I'm going to use some Highland Heather. So I'm going to come in with my light, and I'm just bringing it through. So I'm going to keep that pinkish theme, and I'm really just putting the pen down where the markers are, just a little bit above, you know, just bringing it through, creating that. Now I made a little boo-boo there. I just went slightly over, and thank goodness for our colour lifter. So I've just gone and coloured over there, and that will eventually dry and lift that colour away. So I'm going to take the darker and just add some colour in there, just to make it a little bit darker. And I might take some Blackberry Bliss, just add a little bit of colour at the base, because we all know flowers are never flat and one-dimensional. Yes, I think I like that. So we'll go back and we'll go and do this little one. Colour in the light. And I'll go over this side. Take a little bit of the dark. Yeah, Jacinta, we're hoping that will happen. It's really hindering her life, unfortunately, and just have to be there for her. But she was so funny because with all the drugs they put into her, she sort of gets a little bit high. And as she was coming out of it, the cleaner was coming around cleaning up. And I don't think the cleaner knew what was happening, because next thing she goes, "Hi, are you doing a good job?" And the cleaner just wasn't sure which way to look, because she was so spaced out. But all I could do was laugh. And when I told her later about the way she was, she goes, "I didn't, did I?" And I said, "You did." At least she could laugh at it. Okay, so I'm just going to put the leaves. I've got some old olive, and I'm just going to bring in a little bit of dark old olive just to create depth at the base, not so much anywhere else. So there's my flower, and the only thing I'd like to do now is I'm going to add some Wink of Stella. Yeah, it was fun. You should have been there, Jacinta. All I could do was laugh. Okay, so I'm just going to get some Wink, and our good old Wink of Stella. I'm just going to spread that around, because I want my flowers, I want them to stand out. And I always think a little bit of sparkle never goes astray on a card. So I'm only going to put them on the flowers, nowhere else. So that is going to sit like so. So it's just giving it this, so it looks like there's 3 circles. Okay, darling, I'll catch you later. I'll give you a call probably tonight sometime, if not tomorrow. Thanks, Jacinta. So anyway, we've got that there. So it's just going to have that look like there's 3 different circles on the page. So I'm going to pop that up, but I want to put some ribbon behind it. And I'm going to use this beautiful ribbon that we've got from Stampin' Up at the moment. And it's, what's its proper name? I'll get it right. Silver and White. And it's an organza ribbon. Beautiful and light. And it's just what I think is perfect. So I'm going to get a bit of tear and tape. I'm just going to put a small strip across the back, because I want the ribbon to adhere to something while I'm putting it together. So just now, look at the way I want my ribbon. I'm going to probably tilt that on the side. So if I tilt it that way, I'm going to pop that, come down. Have you got Margot with you again today, Cherry? If you have, say hello for me. pop the ribbon. And we sort of looped it over itself. I'll now trim that off. And then I'm going to take another piece of tear and tape and put that over the top. And my reasoning for this is that it will allow the ribbon to adhere to the base of the card, because I want to pop it up in dimensionals. And if I put dimensionals onto the ribbon, there is no way it's going to adhere to it. So there it is, ready to go. So I've just turned back the bits that I don't need. Pop that out. And I'm going to get dimensionals. And I'm going to pop dimensionals, just catching the ribbon on that side. And down there. And then one there, pop one there, and then where I've put my tear and tape, I've popped another. I'm going to lift these. Just carefully lift those, pop them away. They don't end up all over the house and the floor. So I'm going to take the ribbon and give that lovely effect. Pop that in the centre circle. And I can trim that a bit later. So it's not today or tomorrow. Or say hello to her tomorrow when you see her. Now, on a piece of black, I'm going to stamp the sentiment. Now, my sentiment that I'm using is from a stamp set that's going to be released in the mini catalogue called the Winterly Treetops. It's got these beautiful birds, but I love just this sending thanks. And that's all I'm going to use. So I'm going to die cut, like fussy cut around that and just have, I don't want that and much love. I just want the sending thanks. And don't forget your embossing buddy, because we don't want ink embossing where we in the background. But Versamark that up, stamp that down and let that go. And scraps are amazing for doing sentiments and things like that. I never throw them away, so I hope you don't. I was actually watching a demonstrator the other day that used some very fine strips. You know how we often get that mil or two of cardstock that we trim off, and it might be just a millimetre or more. And she used it like ribbon, and I thought, oh, that's an interesting, because when I get them that small, I tend to throw them out, but she doesn't. I'm persevering with this. Normally I would mix this with my new one, but Stampin' Up have now brought out, just going to grab it from here. They've now brought the embossing powders in the Wow embossing powder. And we've been told not to mix the two types together. So they look different, and we'll know that. So once this is nearly finished, I will go back to this. Normally when it gets to this point, I mix it in with the other one, but not this time. So, and the Wow comes in the same packs as as they did before we changed over. So I'm just going to heat emboss my sentiment. There's something soothing and cathartic, I reckon, when we're embossing. Just watching that plastic, well, I presume it's very fine plastic. Just watching that melt. And then I'll grab my snips. And I'm going to start from here because I don't want the take that off because I don't want that. And then we'll just fussy cut around. Who likes fussy cutting? I think it's a great thing to do when we're sitting in front of the telly. Get a lot of things done. And we're very lucky that we've got a lot of images, sentiments and that we don't necessarily need to have dies with if we don't have them, because we can just fussy cut them. And in this particular Spotlight on Nature, there is no die cuts for the images, but I have fussy cut them out and found them very simple to do. And we'll do that in a moment with when I've realised I have forgotten to stamp the butterfly that I want to use. I'll just go around this. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I tend to forget where the camera is. I don't know how these demonstrators can stay in focus the whole time. I really don't know. There we go. So that's going to be my sentiment. I'll keep that other one for a bit later and I'll pop that away. And I'm going to get my butterfly. So I've got this beautiful butterfly here. Hello, Lucia. Welcome. So I've got this beautiful butterfly and my aim is to sit him just up there. So I'm going to stamp the butterfly in the black as I have done on the flower, because that is my focal point on the card. The background, where I use the smoky slate, isn't the focal point. So I'm just going to stamp my butterfly. Give that a minute to dry. Pop that over there, ready for cleaning. And I'm going to use all the purples, but I also want to use, no, it wasn't the purples I wanted the blue. I'm going to use, I've got purples and I've been playing with all sorts of colours. And as I said before, lack of sleep is starting to play up with me. So I'm going to put a bit of light and dark, that's lemon lolly. Get the right colours, that's it, light and dark Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to go, first of all, in the light, in the dark, sorry, the light. So I just want to create this bit of colour. Sorry, I think you get your comfortable spot when you're crafting, and when you go live, you're inclined to be just a little bit out of it. So I've just got a little bit of the light, and then I'm going to add a little bit of the dark where the dark lines are, just to highlight some of those areas. Bring some colour out. Bring a little bit out here. And then I'm going to use Pretty Peacock. Why Pretty Peacock, you say? You're not using those colours. Well, I like the way Pretty Peacock looks when it's dried. So I'm going to use that and highlight onto the leaves, onto the wings, the leaves. Just highlight a little bit of the colour. And that allows the wings to just look a little bit different. It's not stark yellow. So I'll bring it up and you can see it. So as it's drying, you can see it's not stark yellow. It's just the hint of it. I hope that's focusing all right for you. So it's just the hint of the colour in there. Now, I wish I could remember the lady that showed this, and I'm going to clean this before I do anything else. I saw a demonstrator do this with some butterflies, and she used our splatters, dots, whatever you like to call it, dotterage, and she embossed it, and I'm going to do that with this. So I'm just going to take my embossing folder, and I'm going to try, now this is why I haven't cut it yet, I'm going to stamp this dotterage around the leaves, around the wings. Yeah, oh God, I've got leaves on the brain today. So I'm just taking it, and I don't know, no, you can't really tell. So this is the blind leading the blind. And I'm just going to take a bit of white, and I'm going to pop that over the top. So you can see where the, I hope you can see where the embossing powder is sitting. So it's just wanting to give it a little bit of colour there. And before I use the heat gun, I'm just going to add one more colour that I knew there was a reason I had that out. I'll put a little bit of the pink, of the Blackberry Bliss in here, because I knew I had there for a reason. So I'll get my heat gun, and I'm going to heat this up. Now, if I could remember the demonstrator that showed this, she used it with those butterflies that we can buy into, in a pack, and that came out at the time with our perennial postage and perennial lavender sets. So I'm just turning these white. I did try it on one with silver, but the silver didn't show up the way I wanted it to show. There we go. So as you can see, I've got the dottage, or the splatters, or whatever you like to call it. So the wings have just got that little bit of white in there. Now I'm going to cut this out. As I said, there's no dies with this set. So I'm going to fussy cut this out, and I'm going to cut reasonably close to the image. Just follow that black line. Sorry if I go quiet, because I can't talk and cut at the same time. And because I've put the embossing powder over the top, some of the black lines are a little bit hard to see, so got to make sure you get them just right. Oh, thank you. That's who it was. Yes. Thank you. Fiona Rosario. That's right. It was her. It's a cool technique, isn't it? I think it's a lovely way to add another layer of dimension to your butterflies. So you must see, we are too much alike again, Lucia. We seem to be watching and following the similar demonstrators. I don't know what's going on with us. Just going to go, and these feelers are very, very fine, and I'm not going to go all the way down. Just leave them like so. Now what I'm going to do is, I've got my black blender pen, and I'm going to just use the thick end, and I'm just going to colour around the edge. so that the white isn't actually seen. And it also will pick up that deep, thick line that is around the butterfly. So just very carefully go around so that you don't damage your... And then just around his body, just to take that colour away. So there we go. Put that on. So you can see he's got... Pop him up there. So you can see how it's just given a bit of a black line around it. And you like it. Yeah, it's a great look. And I mean, who would have thought to just sprinkle something on the wings of a butterfly to create that look? I thought it just blew me away when I saw it. And the darker your colours are, the brighter it looks. They actually look very diamanty. And it's really, really nice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take the ends and give them a bit of a curl down. Then I take this. I want to give my butterfly the dimension that it's flying. That'll give the wings the look at once. Because it's so delicate, we need to be delicate with it. There we go. And I'm just going to use one dimensional, and I'm just going to pop that in the middle of his body. Pop that away. And I'm just going to pop him on there. So he's hovering on there. So there's that, and I get my black dimensionals. Who uses black? I find that they're really good to have when you're using black. I know you can put the white there and not see them, but I'm actually glad they've got the black. And that's for two reasons. And I wish they'd do it with the white dimensionals. So as you can see with the dimensionals, we can see the white backs on the back of the black. So when I peel them off, we can easily tell that we've taken them off. But when we do it on white, it's a little bit hard. And I go through so much white that I keep forgetting to colour them in. I'm going to take that and I'm just going to sit that down here on the bottom, just like so. Right, before I go any further, I'm going to get the rest of my card. So I've got a piece of white, 21 centimetres by 14.9 and scored in half at 10.5. So we'll give that a nice crease with the bone folder. And then I've got a piece of Blackberry Bliss, 10 centimetres by 14.4, so it's 0.5 down. And then the white piece was 9.5 by 13.9. So I've cut two pieces of each of those. This is our inside, and this is where we've done the work. So I'm going to glue that flat to my Blackberry Bliss, and then I'm going to put dimensionals underneath to raise it. So pop that in there, making sure I've got an even border all the way around, because we need that. There we go. And then I'll get to my dimensionals. Pop them on. And I don't think you can ever not use enough dimensionals, because you want it to go through the post, you want it to go quite nicely. Take those off. And like I was saying before, you see I've taken the whites off, and I'm just double checking. I have to touch them to see it. Thank you, Michael. I like what you posted today, your new cards. Absolutely beautiful. And then I'm going to pop that on there, making sure I've got an even border. And with dimensionals, don't press them down. You can just gently lay them on top of your card until you're happy. And I'm happy with that. And I'll pop that on. And I might just trim that little bit here, just a fraction long. That's a bit better. There we go. And now for the dimensionals, I thought I would use the Faceted Gems Trio, because aren't they just gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful gems. So I'm just going to use these white. I was debating, well, I think I will use the smoky, well, the grey granity ones. So I'll pop them on. I'll pop one down there. And I think they, yep. And then I'll pop one there. And one over here. So it fills that bottom area in. So there's the front of the card. And I think those gems pick it up beautifully. So then for the inside, we cannot go without putting inside into the card. So I'm going to get some fresh freesia and get some colour. And I only want to just colour into the corner to create that dimension of colour in there. But not heavy, just light, even though I'm looking at it on the screen, and on my screen it's not showing very much, but I hope it's showing on yours. Last night I was talking to one of my fellow demonstrators and I was saying, oh, I don't know what's wrong with the masking sheets. Every time I've used them, all the sticky stuff stays on my card, and I've had to use my adhesive eraser, this wonderful, wonderful tool. And today I worked out what I was doing wrong. I was using adhesive sheets. Thanks, Michael, for watching. We'll catch up with you soon. So I'm just going to stamp the leaves and slightly off and have that sort of frosted look. Yes, so, you know, talk about make a fool of yourself and wonder why it's got adhesive everywhere. Lucia, I think it's because I use the wrong, always use adhesive sheets and forget the masking sheets. Anyway, we're going to glue that in flat. So I use the leaves because the leaves are the focal point on the background of the card. I'm really glad I added that little Blackberry Bliss into the butterfly because it helps pick up the background. And then we'll pop that onto the inside. Again, making sure you've got an even border all around because you've got the extra layer. And there's our card. How pretty is that? Yes, Lucia, they stuck very well. They did the job. I'll show you the two cards that I did it with adhesive sheets. So these are the two cards I prepared earlier. And this one I had the circle the same size and I felt it needed to be smaller. Hence I went smaller. But yes, these were adhesive sheets that I had down to colour. They did work. But you do have to get the glue off. So it was quite funny, but it was a good laugh. So there's the cards. I'm very happy with what I've done today. So there I used the black, but there I used the smoky slate. And I think the smoky slate was the more subtle, and I just felt it gave it a nice look. But in saying that, I do like the way the blue and the black has come out. So I hope you like the cards, and it's worth something to try. As I said, there I've got Wink of Stella on these two, and I've done some spritzing, and I can never get it where I want it. It goes everywhere else, so I haven't quite mastered the art of spritzing. And here I've just got a little bit of blending in the background. And it's a great little card, and it's one that you could easily produce multiples of, and you can have your own design of those. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed making it for you. And if you do make it, please pop some on my page to let me have a look at what you do. You might use a totally different stamp set and come up with a totally different look. And I'd love to see what they are. It'd be really, really good. So it would be great. Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody and thank you for watching. We'll see you all next week.